I was so worried about you today, Mace, because I thought you might be outside, but you're in the comfy confines.
I
Centura
had
Health.
This is my second choice. My first choice was to be outside. The weather isn't bad today. However, I think Apple has sent me a dud of an iPhone because here I am. I've got this iPhone 15 Pro Max thing. And the last 2 days, it's randomly, the cell signal is just randomly dropping off. It makes no sense. And so I'm getting ready to do the show today, outside, out from Century Health Training Center, and then boom, the cell signal goes bye-bye. I mean, what's going on here? It happened at home yesterday as well. I'm venting about this, but anyway, I'm here. We're here. We're doing a show. I'm inside. I'm hoping the Wi-Fi holds up now. So,
Yeah.
hi.
Yeah. Hi. How are you? It's Broncos Wi-Fi, so it should be pretty good. Let's talk about holding up under pressure. That is one Sean Payton. It is orange blue today. Cecil, Lammey, Andrew Mason, and the topic of conversation begins with the pressure now Sean Payton is under with the Russell Wilson decision made. Mace, we'll see a different quarterback next year. How much pressure is Payton under in your eyes?
A fair amount, although if he drafts a quarterback this spring, that pulls a little bit of pressure off of it. Now, we've seen in Carolina, you could have a really bad season with a young quarterback, be in their first year as a head coach, and you're going to get fired. That's what happened with Frank Reich. But realistically, if the Broncos draft a quarterback, I expect that some of the pressure on Sean Payton, at least internally, is going to throttle back because you presume he's going to get at least 2 years to work with that young quarterback to get things right.
Right. A couple years to get things right. But Mace, I've often talked about being patient with this process. Not to say that I'm running out of patience, but like I think with the right rookie quarterback, you can compete sooner. Now, who are those fits? People are loving our Michael Penix videos. Even Rachel did a Michael Penix video as well. So I think Broncos Country is kind of on board, but it has to be the right rookie quarterback.
Kind of on board because you see plenty of people talking about Bo Nix of Oregon, even see a few people that are in the J.J. McCarthy camp, and then, of course, the notion of trading up for Jaden Daniels. I think we can acknowledge that Caleb Williams, Drake May, probably not happening because of the teams who are going to pick 1-2, the capital involved with that. Although, if the Bears choose to ride with Justin Fields again, they have number 1 overall pick coming from Carolina. That could be interesting. But then that brings another element. Do you get in on the Justin Fields sweepstakes, even though I'm not sure he's the right quarterback in terms of staying in the pocket to function in a Sean Payton offense?
Right. We'll see what happens there. We'll see who might be making decisions. But as far as pressure goes with George Payton, Mace, I believe that guy thrives on it. Like, yeah, Broncos
George
Country.
or Sean?
Sean. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sean. Too many Paytons.
George
Maybe
Payton,
not for long.
George Payton, I think, is definitely under some pressure. I think there's more pressure today on George Payton than Sean Payton. And it is fair to wonder if the way everything went down with Russell Wilson, is George Payton going to be scapegoated for that because of the it's been a bit of a PR nightmare for the Broncos in the last 7 days.
Yeah, and I don't know if that changes after the season because Sean Payton said at his press conferences, Mace, hey, you're going to get to talk to the appropriate people, when this season's done. Well, that's not him. So he's in a way passing the buck, but he might be passing the buck to someone who's not even here anymore.
Or maybe you're going to hear from Greg Penner as well.
Ooh.
The period that ends all sentences is Greg Penner, not Sean Payton.
Right.
Remember that.
Right. And that'd be the guy to hear from. Honestly, now that you say that, I'm like, we don't really need to hear from George Payton. And that sort of large decision, I need to hear about George Payton for the 7th round picks. For those large decisions, give me Greg Penner. He'll tell you his thought process.
And I imagine some of the thought process is trusting the football people. I mean, I'll say this for Greg Penner and Kerry Walton Penner. They're very good at knowing what they don't know and then trying to have the right people involved to make the decisions there on those areas they're still learning. That doesn't mean that they don't have a vision for things, but at the top of the organization, the ones who run organizations like that the best, they're not micromanagers. They try to get the best people and then let those people do their jobs effectively and then support them with resources and moral support and things like that.
Yeah. And I think that's something the Walton Penner group has been talking about, something that they will be doing pretty much this entire offseason, is kind of setting up things for Sean Payton. And I'm here for that. I'm here for seeing more Sean Payton guys around this team. And yes, Mace, that does include his quarterback. I probably can't go like 5 minutes now without thinking about the Senior Bowl. We're all thinking about our trip, maybe our road trip. But either way, like, yeah, man, I think we are going to see up close this process and what Sean Payton wants from his quarterback. And that's where this next year, whatever that passer's name is, Mace, we'll know it's Sean's guy. And that's all I really care to see.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can maybe even say that the Sean Payton era really starts next year, or next season, because we're already in 2024, starts next season, especially if there is a new quarterback coming in, right? Because then that's Sean Payton's quarterback. Look, we talked about it earlier when the season started. This year, if you made the playoffs, great. But this was a year to figure out who and what you had and who's going to be a part of it going forward. It was, kind of like Bill Belichick's first year in New England back in 2000. Who's in, who's out, right? As it turned out, we learned that one of the people who appears to be out is the quarterback, Russell Wilson, right? That's where it's a little bit different, because if you go back to Bill Belichick in 2000, he had Drew Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe was decided to be in and actually signed a contract extension before the 2001 season. He was the intended quarterback. It was never supposed to be Tom Brady. Tom Brady was the reserve who comes in. Brady doing what he did to go into Bob Ross mode, that was a little bit of a happy accident there for New England.
Yeah, it was. And was that Mo Lewis that hit Drew Bledsoe, like knocked his spleen out or whatever?
It was a nasty hit. It was right.
Yeah.
It was their first game back after 9/11. They had 9/11 postponement, and then they were off for a week, and so it was the end of September, end of that game, if I recall correctly, in Foxborough.
Yes.
And then Tom Brady comes in, and who knew? But yeah, this year was about who's in, who's out. And we're actually going to get the answers as to who's in and who's out over the next 2 months as the Broncos make moves heading into the offseason, who they choose to re-sign, who they choose to part ways with. They got some interesting choice here. I actually did ask a couple of players today about coming back. We'll get more into that in future shows. But, for example, P.J. Locke, Adam Troutman absolutely say they want to be back. They have expiring contracts, but they want to return for 2024.
Right. And I understand people say, like, who wants to come here? Well, if you win and you've got a culture of winning under Sean Payton and you know that you're going to get coached, players want to get coached. Doesn't mean they want to get yelled at, but that's also part of coaching. Like, you're going to get coached. If you can tell a player the why, that's what players dig, man. They don't want you just to yell at them. You can yell at them to a certain point, but like mainly it's about, why are you giving me this message? How can I become a better player? Sean is, of all things, Mace, you and I've touched on this briefly, but we should expand. He's a teacher. He's a teacher of football. Yeah,
we see it in practice, how, stopping practice to work on specific game situations. That's what he does. It's one of the things he really does well, is explaining the why. It's funny because Nathaniel Hackett talked about, players want to know the why, but something got lost when he was trying to convey that why.
Right.
That Sean Payton has done a better job of communicating to his team over the course of this year.
Yeah, and communicating to his new quarterback, Jarrett Stidham. Now, he's not Drew Bledsoe, but next year being a backup, I want to see Stidham this week, potentially with the return of Courtland Sutton. Shall I put up the graphic, Mace?
Yes.
This is what it looks like with Courtland Sutton and without Courtland Sutton. Look at that. 10 touchdowns for Courtland Sutton himself. The rest of the wide receiver core, nine times. 9 touchdowns for everyone else not named Courtland Sutton that's a wide receiver. Yeah, could Jarrett Stidham use Courtland Sutton this week? Yes, of course. A lot.
Oh, my goodness, yes. And a very good sign that Courtland Sutton on the field today. Baron Browning also on the field today for the start of practice. They were in the post-concussion protocol last week, so they appear to be one step closer to returning. And look, I mean, we can debate whether it's wise for the Broncos to win this game or not long term based on the draft positioning. As I have gathered and calculated, and I just did a little rudimentary work on it today, Cecil, the Broncos draft pick range is anywhere from 11 to 18 based on the results this weekend. You'd feel a lot better about getting your guy at quarterback potentially if it's Michael Penix Jr., for example, if you're at 11 than 18. And if you have to move up, easier to do that from 11 than from 18. So definitely there's definitely value to losing this game. But in the locker room, players are talking about the good things that come with being 9-8. And the thing that you and I know, nobody wants to put bad film out there, right?
Right.
So you're going to see maximum effort. Look, there's a reason why New England came into Denver and won on December 24th. And one of the big reasons was in the middle of a bad season, those guys were still trying. They all want to put out good film. They all want to do the best with the time they have as NFL players. And that's why, that's why you get earnest efforts from teams that are playing out the string. And you're going to get that on Sunday from the Broncos. But you're also going to face a Raiders team that has its own shared motivations. So the truth is, even though it's a quote-unquote meaningless game, it's actually got a lot of meaning to the players who are going to be playing in it.
Yeah, I think it's got a lot of meaning for the culture that Sean Payton is building here, Mace. And I also think it has a lot of meaning for the fan base. They want to beat that Raiders ass, right? They don't want to go to Vegas and take another L. You don't want to sweep there for the Raiders.
Well, the other thing also is this, and a few guys alluded to it in the locker room today. You stopped the Chiefs streak, right? If you get a win, you stop the streak of losing seasons at 6 in a row. If you beat the Raiders, you stop that streak. Against the Chargers, you just pulled off your first sweep of the Los Angeles Chargers since 2015, right? First time you swept them. Everything since then was a split. So you're looking around and you're seeing a lot of these mileposts of the Broncos decline into what Vic Fangio referred as the world of suck. A lot of these mileposts you're now reversing. Getting a win over the Raiders. You have never won in Las Vegas. You haven't beaten the Raiders since end of the 2019 season. Stopping that streak, that would be a nice that would be a nice boost going into the offseason. And basically you can look and say, okay, even though we may be going in a new direction at quarterback, in terms of overall culture building, you stop the bleeding. Another example of a team that did that was Buffalo back in 2017. They made the playoffs. These Broncos are going to miss the playoffs. But if the Broncos win, they'll have 9 wins, just like that Buffalo team in 2017. And that year was very much about stopping 17 years of bleeding and missing the postseason. That's the way this year might be for the Broncos in terms of getting things back on the right track. Basically, the train had been going in the wrong direction. Now at least you started to get going in the right direction.
Right, and then you can have a bounce back faster because McDermott in his first year with the Bills makes the postseason. Second year doesn't. Third year they're Super Bowl contenders. Yeah. So I'm not going to say that for the Broncos because we don't know the quarterback right now, Mace, but I could see just missing the playoffs with Michael Penix, and then you are not just a playoff team, you're a Super Bowl contender in year 3.
Yeah, now the only unfortunate thing there is depending on the cap accounting, you might be working around $49.6 million of dead money in 2025, which is another reason why one of the discussions you and I are going to have is, do you try to swallow the pill this coming off season? I don't think they will, but there's an argument to say they should just take that $85 million and just deal with it and get it off the books right now.
Honestly, I think that'd be the best way, right?
Too.
Wash it away.
Mm-hmm. Except that this year is this coming year is is a cap reset year, but also a year where you've got your young quarterback. There are things you can do to make sure the young quarterback is supported, even if you are taking that massive cap hit. For one thing, you can do some restructures, work some contracts on the offensive line, make sure that you've got a good line in front of him. I think that's the most important thing. If you do draft Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix or whoever, make sure they've got something in front of them to protect them, keep them upright.
Yeah, keep them upright, keep them going, and then let's get this thing rolling. It might just take some time because of the cap hit. Why you got to bring up facts, Mace?
I don't know. It's kind of what I do.
I'm based on emotion. You're based on facts. I think it's a nice duo, man. It's a nice combination, right?
Logic, Vulcan, live long and prosper, baby.
See, I keep trying to do the West Side thing. Like, no, I can't. I don't think I could do that. I did it. Yay.
I was such a nerd. I practiced doing this against the window in my family's living room when I was a kid. I can still do that. It's actually, I believe, its origins are actually as it's a Hebrew gesture, I believe.
Okay, nice. I'll have to look up that mudra and see what's going on there. We'll look up the mood of Broncos country. It is orange and blue today. Cecil, Lammey, Andrew, Mason. What is this Garett Bolles clip? You've set it up for me, but I gotta know, brother. I gotta watch this. I got to have the fans watch it as well that are watching us here on YouTube. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that. But like, set us up with this Bolles clip, man. He talked in the locker room today.
Talked in the locker room, and Rod Mackey of CBS 4 asked him if he could name the quarterbacks that he's played with over the course of his 7-season career. So let's roll that beautiful bean footage of Garett Bolles trying to rattle off the quarterbacks that he's seen around here.
Every single one. My rookie year, I think I blocked for Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian, Brock Osweiler. My second year, 2018, I think I had Case Keenum. My third year, I had Joe Flacco, Drew Locke. Jeff Driscoll? Does that sound right? No, Brandon Allen. That was Brandon Allen. The following year, I think it was. What was the following year? Was that 19?
Now you're on 20.
Now I'm on 20. 20 was, I think, Jeff Driscoll played that year when we played Pittsburgh. 2020, Kendall Hinton, you have to bless him because he was our quarterback. Drew Locke again. Then 2021, I think it was. Give me a second. What was 2021? Teddy. Who's the backup for Teddy? Drew again. Then there's another one. Oh, Brett Rippon. Was 2021. 2022. Who was 2020? Oh, Russell. And then I got hurt. And then we had Russell and now Case Keenum. I lose count. I mean, that's a lot of quarterbacks now. So.
His timing was off on Brett Rippon. But, man, he had all of them named, and then he gets the current guy wrong.
Oh, my God. And, he said it with a straight face, totally meant it. Nobody corrected him right then. Did anyone tell him afterwards it's actually Jarrett Stidham, not Case Keenum?
Maybe after the cameras stopped rolling, but on something like that, generally you're going to let the player go, although you could see there was a little bit of help. Someone called out, like Drew again. I said, hey, you're on 2020 now, like kind of you're trying to keep the river in the channel rather than spilling over the banks, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was our trip into the GB zone today.
Well, the GB zone, always a good spot. Does the carousel stop this year? Do you believe?
I believe we're going to add one more name to it that will stop the carousel, and that will be who the Broncos add in the next few months. Whether it's Michael Penix Jr. or somebody else, probably depends on the medicals, may depend on their draft spot as well. But I think by the end of April, the Broncos will have the quarterback who puts that carousel to a halt for hopefully a long time, at least a couple of years when that quarterback gets in there, because Jarrett Stidham is going to be back, and I think there's a decent chance that Jarrett Stidham is your week 1 starter in 2024. But if you've drafted a quarterback that is clearly the future, that's going to be okay. People will understand that. If you have Jarrett Stidham without a young quarterback who could be the QB of the future in there, that's going to be difficult for much of Broncos country to handle. And I think you will see an unenthusiastic reaction to that as the season nears. So not that it should matter, but if you do draft a quarterback and the hopes are invested in that quarterback, there's going to be optimism around here, even if you are starting Jarrett Stidham early. And I think this game helps us learn, if Jarrett Stidham is out there, just, what he can be, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long could you ride him? I mean, if Stidham goes out and plays well and then has another offseason in this scheme, could Jarrett Stidham be a bridge who is reasonably successful? Sure. I wouldn't be closed-minded to that. But we all know where this is going. Put it this way. We talk about Buffalo 2017, 2018, when they jettisoned Tyrod Taylor, they drafted Josh Allen. Their bridge was Nathan Peterman. Nathan Peterman, as an NFL quarterback, is dreadful. Nathan Peterman is probably, if he's not the worst quarterback to start multiple games in the NFL over the last 20 years, he's in the bottom 2 or 3, right?
Right.
Jarrett Stidham is a reasonably capable quarterback, probably a career backup. But I feel pretty confident Jarrett Stidham's going to have a 15-year career, even if it's as a backup, right?
Right.
He's an NFL player. So who's to say he couldn't step in there and deliver you some good work for a while? I think Sunday is going to kind of tell the tale on that and give us an indication on it, because he'll probably have Courtland Sutton back. He'll go up against a good defense, but it'll be his second game. Let's see where this goes. This may determine whether you're comfortable with Jarrett Stidham as a bridge in 24.
You know what Sunday tells me is, are you adding one quarterback or two? Are you adding a quarterback that can take over as the future franchise, and then, a Jameis Winston or whatever, name a name, or do you just need to add one and you're comfortable with Stidham, and then you get some camp arm guy? That's again, people say meaningless, and it's honestly kind of offensive to me, Mace, because you and I cover this game, and for those players who we respect, it's glory to the players, glory to the game. Not meaningless for them.
Don't forget, you may already have that camp arm in Ben DiNucci in there as well. That guy may already be around.
To that I say double true. All right, Mace, what else are we watching? The Greg Dulcich news, I guess, today. You and I saw Courtland with the non-contact jersey. So a few little notes here to wrap up today's program. Yeah,
Greg Dulcich not out there, and that means the 21-day window has expired. Greg Dulcich will not come off of injured reserve this year. His season is done with 2 games. Baron Browning, like Courtland Sutton, wearing the blue jersey. He's out there. He coming back from the concussion. Chris Manhertz, illness, not at practice. Samaje Perine, rest day. Mike McGlinchey, the rib injury kept him out of practice today. I think we'll get a little bit better idea on him tomorrow, but not sure you want to risk it with Mike McGlinchey there. Look, he started the season with a knee injury. He's ending it with a rib injury. I think you want to just get him back to full strength, and hopefully next year you get a better year from 69.
Yeah, get him healthy, get him out there, and take care of business. I guess I should take care. I should take care of my cell phone, Mace, because I didn't get the text that the locker room opened early. Went to take a bathroom break. I come out, the gate's locked. Y'all locked me out of the locker room today. Not you.
Hey,
with the Broncos.
Dude, you're a veteran, man. You should know. You got to be early for these things.
They said 2:20. I was down there at 2.
2?
I was at the gate. I went to the gate at 2:10. I went to the gate at 2:10.
I was going to say 2:10. You weren't there at 2 because I was there at 2, and you weren't there.
It's all good.
I know. You got to. Hey, rookie mistake, man, but you're not a rookie.
I know. Got too many gray hairs for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's Andrew Mason. You follow him on all the socials at Mace Denver. Hey, you guys are really helping us out on YouTube. We so appreciate it. It's really doing a big job for us, putting us in front of more Denver sports fans. So on YouTube, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. I need Matthew to say it too. Anyway, Never miss a vid. Thank you, Matthew.
I gotta do the finger wag. I gotta do the Kembe Mutombo.
Dikembe, no.
Never miss a vid.
Never miss a vid. You don't want to, man. We got too much stuff to do, and we'll be everywhere for you. So please just help us out on YouTube. It's free. Go to denversports.com. We don't have a damn paywall, so just go there, read all you want, talk all you want, watch all you want, and it really, really helps. Thank you guys for that. It means a lot. So
yeah, and we're gonna be live on the scene at things that are mattering. We're gonna be at the Shrine Bowl. We're gonna be at the Senior Bowl. Going to be taking you deep in these prospects because we check the algorithms, we check the numbers, we see. Looks like there's already a demand from Broncos Country to hear about these young quarterbacks coming along. So this is going to be your spot to get everything you're going to need to know on everybody from Caleb Williams all the way down over the next few months.
You just gave me chills saying that, brother. All right, that's a wrap today. He is Andrew Mason. I am Cecil Lammey. There's Matthew. He's our man of the box. OBT is a BFD. We appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned and stay frosty.